Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. Folks, if you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called Behavior Modification Program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center does not want you to read that article so much. They have threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused, so you know the drill. Read the article, share it on all your social media. You're going to find linked in there NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding folks in case the JRC ever actually does see through with their threat. All right, trigger warning 1, folks. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please go ahead and utilize those headphones, all right? Number 2, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously, parental supervision is advised, all right? So where we left off last time. As discussed in detail in the comment responses in Section 5, although we found that certain risks had weaker support than we asserted in the proposed rule, other information submitted in comments provided greater support for other risks. This is where we have, but in regards to you losing sensation, we just have your word for that. Here's my medical document. Oh, but we don't know. My entire life, folks, my entire goddamn life, starting from 18 and up, has literally been, but are you really sure? You're her mother. Is that what's really going on? Thankfully, I had my mother, who I knew I had to take with me, especially in my 20s, to reinforce what I was saying, giving them the dead-eyed stare. What gave it more weight was the fact that going in, these people already knew that my mom was in the healthcare field. Not everybody has that luxury, unfortunately. But they do that, folks. They minimize, they dismiss, or even worse, they try to say that, well, it's not really as bad as you say that it is. This is one of the reasons I put my once in a year appearance with my aunt, and then the majority of the year. Yeah. Just saying. Just saying is all. They do that. Every single last one of us has had to put up with it to. It's been different depending on the experience, but every single one of us have had to deal with some version of this. Let's put it that way. We continue to find that medical literature shows that ESDs present a number of psychological risks, including depression, PTSD, anxiety, fear, panic, substitution of other negative behaviors, worsening of underlying symptoms, and learned helplessness. All of these, as you know, are also very common with individuals who are survivor of DB, CA, or child abuse, or SA. All common denominators. What's even more sad is most of us have also had to survive that. Hi. That was me. Anyways, not the point. The point is, if this sounds familiar to you, it should. That's the point. The other point is the proportions to which this is familiar across the board in regards to people with disabilities is beyond frightening. The highest number of individuals who've had to deal with DV, CA, or SA, or in some cases, all of the above, the vast majority are people with some form or another of disability. Many of us who become a part of the service system come in as survivors to help change the system. And we have, believe it or not. But moving on. Sorry, I got caught up there. And the devices present the physical risks of pain, skin burn, and tissue damage, all of which we have beyond enough evidence to be able to demonstrate. Our receipts have receipts. Our receipts that are receipts of the receipts have receipts. Okay? Because the medical literature suggests an underreporting of AEs, FDA carefully evaluated risks identified through other sources such as experts in the field, state agencies that regulate ESD use. Again, you're being far too vague with that. And records from the only facility that is currently using ESDs for SIB or AB. When they talk about underreporting, folks, this is one of the things that help bring me to jump on JD's side. The fact of the matter is, folks, if you are a disabled person, the massive pressure upon you to not report any abuse that you are going through or have survived is enormous. One of the main reasons being the fact that most people in the service system have already been taught to dismiss you. Well, it didn't really happen. Or if it did, it's not as bad as you're saying that it is. I know, I've had to live it. Okay? We're either not believed, painted as crazy and delusional, or it wasn't as bad as we said it was, or as I was told by a certain Miss Someone, it just gets worse every time you say it. Oh no, it's the same details every single time, but you act like you're more distressed about it every single time. Well, Jesus, Karen, I fucking wonder why. Maybe because reliving it and doing anything other than describing it briefly brings me back to that moment, and reliving it is hell. Sorry. Off topic. Back to the subject here. My point is the reasons why the risks here that they're talking about may have been underreported is the JRC controls every waking moment of those students' lives. The matter of fact that we had the individuals that we had able to come forward and tell their stories at all speaks to their absolute strength. To me, they are the very definition of what stunning bravery actually looks like. Okay? Because the pressure is, whether it's done it in a place at the JRC or whether it comes as a part of life as being an individual with a developmental disability with a target on our back from day one, by and large, we do not report because nobody believes us, or even if they do, they don't think we actually count enough for anyone to be concerned about us. That's just a fact of life that we get to live with every day. Moving on. As discussed in the proposed rule, these sources further support the risks reported in the literature and indicate that ESDs have been associated with additional risks such as suicidality, chronic stress, acute stress disorder, neuropathy, withdrawal, nightmares, flashbacks of panic and rage, hypervigilance, and sensitivity to fatigue or pain, changes in sleep patterns, loss of interest, difficulty concentrating, and injuries from falling. These are things that we are discussing here that everyone who's been a survivor of some form of violence can understand and identify immediately. Okay? The individuals that they were speaking to during the FDA hearings who were bringing these things up are some of the most top rated psychiatrists, psychologists, and neurologists in the country. We're going to close out on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see y'all next time.